Okay, welcome everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty monumental, the Trinity test. July 16th, 1945.
Right, the standard story.
Yeah,
New Mexico desert, first atomic bomb detonates, dawn of the atomic age, a huge scientific military moment, changed everything.
exactly. That's the history book version. But the sources we've gathered for today, they present this event through an entirely different lens. I mean, really different, esoteric, you could say.
It's quite a shift in perspective. They basically strip away the science, the military strategy, and frame it as, well, as a ritual.
A magical ritual of the highest and most blasphemous order.
Yep.
That's the actual quote from one of the sources.
So our mission today is to explore that claim. We need to try and understand this view where the Manhattan Project wasn't just a top-secret government program.
But the grand finale of what these sources call the elite's great alchemical work.
Yeah, an attempt, allegedly, to seize the very power of God, to kickstart their own kind of reset, a profane reset, right after the chaos of World War II, which they see as a sort of mini-reset.
It's a huge claim, moving us from, physics labs straight into cosmic power plays. And they have a specific term for the test detonation itself.
The profane fire of the game.
Right. That phrase, the game. Can you remind us what that signifies in this context?
Sure. In these sources, the game is basically the term for the perceived operating system of reality, a sort of constructed matrix, if you like, that certain groups, the players, believe they can manipulate.
So calling the test the profane fire means?
It means they're saying this wasn't just physics happening, it was an intentional act, a ritual designed to grab control over the fundamental, maybe even spiritual forces of this system, this game, using fire, but a corrupted, profane version of it.
Okay, so the detonation is the ritual fire. What about the bomb itself? Was it just a device?
Not according to these sources. They're very specific. They call the atomic bomb the ultimate profane weapon of the game.
A weapon of the game, meaning?
Meaning it's seen as a kind of dark mirror, a man-made technological mimicry of the power of beta. And beta, in their cosmology, is the sun, divine solar fire.
So they weren't just splitting atoms. They were trying to, what? Bottle the sun. Create their own star.
Essentially, yes. To manufacture a star, but a profane one. A corrupted version of that creative solar power.
And that intense flash of light when it detonated?
Yeah.
It wasn't just radiation and heat?
To them, no. It was the birth of a false star. That flash, that fire. They describe it as a profane echo of the reunion eclipse.
Reunion eclipse?
Yeah.
What's that supposed to be?
In their mythology, it's a kind of celestial alignment, a powerful merging of cosmic forces. So the Trinity detonation was meant to be the man-made version of that, a statement.
A statement that they, these players, could now create their own cosmic events without needing divine permission, basically.
Precisely, manufacturing significance on a cosmic scale. And that brings us to something really central in their argument, the name they chose.
Yeah, Trinity. Out of all the possible code names, why that one? Seems loaded.
Well, the sources insist it was absolutely deliberate, a direct and arrogant declaration of their intent. Forget the John Donne poem explanation you sometimes hear.
Okay, so why Trinity? What does that concept represent in this framework?
It represents the absolute core, the divine blueprint of the cosmos. Alpha, beta, and omega. The fundamental structure of existence itself. Creation, energy, stability, everything.
So naming the test site Trinity wasn't just symbolic, it was like planting a flag.
Exactly. It was them declaring, we've done it. We've mastered alpha, beta, and omega. We understand the blueprint, and now we can use it. Wield those forces at will.
That's cosmic level arrogance, isn't it?
You could certainly see it that way. But the connection gets even deeper, more fundamental. The sources point out that the atom itself, the very building block of matter,
is the smallest trinity, right? That idea that the whole universe is reflected in the tiniest part.
Exactly. They take that ancient idea literally. The atom, they claim, is a perfect functioning miniature replica of the cosmic trinity.
Okay, let's break that down because it's key to their logic.
Yeah.
How does an atom map onto alpha, beta, omega?
Okay, so alpha is the principle of potential information, the orbiting aspect. In the atom, that's the electron. Negative charge orbits the nucleus, holds the potential, the information archive, bound by the laws of the game.
Right, the orbiting electron is alpha, then beta.
Yeah.
That's the power, the energy source.
That's the proton. Positive charge residing in the fiery core, the nucleus. It's the energetic, sun-like force beta, giving the atom its identity and its power, the mini-sun.
Okay, electron alpha, proton beta. That leaves omega, the balancing force.
That's the neutron. Neutral charge, also in the nucleus. Its job is crucial. Balancing, stabilizing. It holds those powerful positive protons together, stopping the atom from just flying apart. Omega is stability, containment, governance.
So the whole cosmic structure, alpha, beta, omega, is perfectly mirrored right there inside every atom. Electron, proton, neutron.
Wow, it's a neat parallel, conceptually.
And what does an atomic bomb do to that structure? A fission bomb, specifically.
It violently disrupts the omega principle. It breaks that neutron-provided stability, tears apart the smallest trinity.
To unleash the contained beta force, the proton's energy, in a massive, uncontrolled way.
Precisely.
It puts a totally different spin on nuclear fission.
Yeah.
It becomes this act of deliberately taking that divine blueprint, the smallest trinity, and twisting it.
Into an instrument of ultimate destruction. That's the phrasing they use. It's the ultimate Faustian bargain, as they see it. Gaining immense power, yes, but by shattering the sacred structure itself.
Asserting dominance by destroying the very principle of stability. Okay. So we have the intent in the name, the mechanism in the atom.
Yeah.
But where did they choose to do this? Did the location matter?
Oh, absolutely. According to these sources, the location was critical. Yes, it was in the New Mexico desert, the Jornada del Muerto region, but crucially, it's right next door to Arizona.
Arizona. Why would the state line matter for a ritual like this? Seems arbitrary.
Not in their view. Arizona, according to this material, holds a specific significance. It's designated as the reset zone of the last cycle.
It's the reset zone.
Meaning, they believe it's an area with residual energy, maybe spiritual or dimensional energy, left over from the destruction or transition of a previous world age, a previous cycle of existence.
So they weren't just looking for empty desert. They were looking for, like, energetically potent ground.
That's the claim. They deliberately chose this spot for their profane ritual because it was on or near what they consider the holy ground of a previous Todo civilization.
Todo civilization, what's that?
The sources describe Todo as a highly advanced civilization, technologically and maybe spiritually, from the cycle of existence that supposedly came before ours.
Okay, so performing this ritual, this detonation on the edge of the reset zone, near the remains of a previous civilization, what was the point?
It's seen as a deliberate act of desecration and power theft. They believe the players were trying to literally draw power from the lingering harmonics of the last true cataclysm.
Tapping into the echoes of a past world-ending event to fuel their own new beginning, their profane reset.
Exactly, it ties it all together.
Which brings us back to the start. The Manhattan Project has their great work. Not just science, not just war, but alchemy on a massive scale. An attempt to, what, create a god in a laboratory?
That's the interpretation, yes. And the Trinity test itself, that was the final necessary ritual, the proof.
Proof of what?
Proof that they, the players, had achieved power equal to the ultimate cosmic authority, which these sources often call the monarch. Proof they could now wield the same creative and destructive forces.
The ultimate demonstration. And this leads to their final conclusion about the whole era that followed, doesn't it? The atomic age as the final heresy.
It's a powerful way to frame it. The dawn of the atomic age, for them, wasn't just about new technology. It marked the beginning of a core belief, a heresy. The belief that their fire, their profane technological fire, was now equal to the divine light, the creative force of the cosmos.
Because they'd successfully replicated and weaponized the smallest trinity. They felt they'd cracked the code.
They believed they'd demonstrated total mastery over alpha, beta, and omega. They understood the blueprint and could now build or destroy with it.
And if you believe you've mastered the blueprint, what does that say about your relationship to the original designer?
It was, in effect, a declaration of war, a statement that they were ready to challenge the final boss himself, as one source puts it. Their manufactured power was now positioned as equal, maybe even superior, to the natural or divine order.
It's the moment they stopped seeing themselves as part of creation and started seeing themselves as creators and destroyers.
That's the essence of the heresy, according to this viewpoint.
Right. Okay, that definitely reframes Trinity. So just to recap the core points from these sources, the Trinity test wasn't just science, it was a ritual, a declaration of mastering the cosmic trinity, alpha, beta, omega, by breaking apart the atomic trinity, electron, proton, neutron. And they did it on purposefully chosen ground, near a reset zone, trying to draw power from a previous cycle's end.
It shifts it from a technological milestone to a profound act of, well, spiritual rebellion or cosmic assertion, depending on how you look at it. Gives the physics a whole metaphysical layer.
So thinking about this interpretation today,
Hmm.
what's the takeaway? If Trinity was this grand, symbolic, ritualistic act decades ago, does it still echo?
Well, that leads to a really interesting final thought, something for you to chew on. If we take this perspective seriously, even just hypothetically, what does it imply about our advanced technology now? Things like genetic engineering, sophisticated AI.
Are they just science?
Mm,
Or are they continuations of that same impulse?
exactly. Are they part of that ongoing Faustian Margin, a continued attempt to challenge or mimic fundamental forces,
Hmm.
forces that maybe, as the sources suggest, they can never truly control? It makes you wonder about the hidden weight, the potential ritualistic undertones behind the naming and placement of significant modern events or projects. Is that original declaration made in the desert in 1945 still shaping the rules of the game we're all in?